DISCO 100. It is New Order. Real talk with New Order, y'all, today. I got Miss Kim in the building and my man Noke in the building, and we are filling in. Well, we part of the organization, so we're not filling in.
Right.
Just G Rose, what I call Gerald Rose, is handling some business, taking care of things. So we're going to make this show do what it do. Big shout out to the homie G Rose. Hope we handling business like normal.
As
And
usual.
Miss Kim, how you doing?
I'm okay. I'm okay. Making it through this crazy week of ours.
Okay, you say crazy. What you mean by crazy?
Well, I mean it's MLK weekend
Mhm.
2021,
Okay.
but it's unlike any MLK weekend we've ever had before. I
Wow.
would say, wouldn't
We
you?
we're gonna hold that right there real quick. Nope, how you doing? Nope.
Man, I'm good, man. I know MLK didn't think this was gonna be the dream, but it's a nightmare.
Okay. So being that both of y'all said the same thing, elaborate for me, Miss Kim.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's. I mean, who is not shocked? I mean, who is not surprised by what happened at the Capitol last week with white supremacists uprising and all that? But when you still sit there and look at it, you still kind of shocked by it.
Mhm.
You know, like, is this is the Confederate flag really in the halls of Congress right now? You know, like the Civil War, they didn't even accomplish that. They lost. They never got to raise that flag in the Capitol. So to watch it happen, especially if you're somebody who is as much into history as I am, you recognize instantly, you know, where we are, what moment in time we're in.
Mm-hmm.
That was the precipice to the Civil War, this type of uprising. And this is what they've been calling for this whole time. And so for it to happen on MLK weekend, you know, is like poetic, I guess, in a way. You know?
Wow.
Yeah. Well, the irony of it is, they grandparents,
Mm.
they understood why they wore hoods. Now that most of them is being arrested and losing their jobs, they should have had their hoods. You should have went and got your robes and just put your hoods on.
Right.
But since you feel so cocky,
Emboldened.
right, I'm talking about you ain't got to wear your. That's the irony of it. You didn't have to wear your hoods, but you stepped out there full-fledged to be identified. Some on firefighters, police officers.
Military.
You know what? One thing you said the word history. Me and Noke was talking downstairs. I want to explain it to everybody the history of New Order.
Mm.
Okay. New Order is not just for a black doing. Meaning
Right.
New Order don't represent just African Americans who've been penalized or
That's
been
right.
abused or been mistreated.
Right.
New Order is human rights.
Human rights.
Yeah, I can't say the H. I got the Spanish in me, so that's what I tried to say.
Right.
So that part right. But I want everybody to understand that this man started this organization for everyone. So I don't want nobody to be misinterpreted of, the black, the white. It's
Right.
who's being treated wrong.
Yeah. And typically you can put it in the category of the poor and the marginalized.
Okay.
I mean, pretty much whoever fits in that category,
Correct.
whatever your issues are.
Because he turns his back on nobody. I've been knowing G Rose almost 19 years. And he done did everything from Little League football to Auntie Sarah to Auntie Terry to Uncle Junior to Uncle Jim. So the man is a very not cold, I love the wrong word, good-hearted
Right.
guy. So I want everybody to understand that, all the people that need to donate and help out, the man is helping out everyone. Whoever needs his assistance, he is there. Okay, so New Order is for everyone. Because I got phone calls. That's why I'm explaining this.
That's right.
I got phone calls when they found out I was part of the organization, and people antenna went up, thinking something bad about it
Oh.
because it's I think not said enough.
Mm.
But
Right.
I'm just explaining to everyone it is for everyone who needs assistance on any kind of mistreatment.
Yeah, they
Right.
they
Period.
intentionally named the organization, New Order Human Rights Organization, as opposed to just, civil rights or anything else specific.
Correct.
So, they intentionally named it a human rights organization, so that everybody can be included in that. Anybody who, like I said, has been marginalized or mistreated,
Correct.
by any kind of system.
Correct.
So
Right.
that's exactly who New Order is for.
So back on MLK. So I know back home in Miami, a lot of MLK parades has been canceled. So how do y'all feel about that as far as going down in history and the concern about it?
Well, you know, it's a tragic situation that it had to happen at this moment because Dr. Martin Luther King was a nonviolent individual, and us paying homage and recognizing him for the work that he have done to champion the cause of or civil rights, and it wasn't just blacks, but civil rights in general for the black or the African Americans in this society. To have the violence being promoted around his day, you know, is kind of like tragic, you know. But we can't allow it to dimmer the situation because we need to pay homage to him the way he fought for our people throughout his life. You know, we need to keep that at the forefront of our thoughts.
Correct.
And
There you go, nephew.
that's why I'm so conflicted, you know, as far as how do I feel about it being canceled, MLK parades being canceled, because on the one hand,
Give me 1 second, caller. Go ahead.
on the one hand, it's like that's the history, that's the tradition. We do these MLK parades in honor of him, you know. But then on the other hand, when you know that there's this direct threat of violence that you don't know where it's gonna come from and all this and that, you know, you want to play it safe. But I'm a little conflicted on how I feel about
Correct,
canceling it.
Real talk with no order. Who's calling?
Yes, hi, this is Joanne from Toledo. How are you guys doing?
How you doing, Miss Joanne?
Hey, how you
I'm
doing?
doing pretty good. I'm staying in prayer because I'm really concerned about our country. It's
Yeah.
like we living in the last days, and I've really been prayerful and just concerned with all this violence started in Washington D.C. and it just don't make no sense. It's like America is at war within themselves, and it's like it's crazy. It's crazy. It's not the same to me. It's not the same. So
You're
we all
right.
got to stay in prayer.
Thank you. I'm asking you this question. Do you have any young men as far as kids?
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
Young men. Do you have any young men in your home still, like young 20-year-old, 18-year-old, 17-year-old young men, children?
I have nephews.
Okay. My question.
I have teenage nephews, and I have adult sons.
Okay. My question, y'all. I'm gonna ask Miss Kim this question before you call. If there was a parade tomorrow, Monday, how would you feel if your kids went to that actual parade this Monday? If it was one in your city?
Wow. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, I didn't hear the first part.
How concerned would you be if your children was going to a Martin Luther King parade on Monday? If they was like a lot of cities did not have it, how would you feel is concerned wise, safety wise?
These day and times, I wouldn't feel safe if I even participated in it like I used to do back in the day, because there's so much black crimes out there with the young black men is getting hurt, getting killed just for them being themselves and who they are. I don't feel safe for none of my family, even women, to go out because we can be targeted just because we're standing up for our rights. And Dr. Martin Luther King was for peace. And that's what I'm all about, is peace.
Correct.
I
Me
don't
too.
see that.
Correct.
I don't see that in the country. No matter what part of the city you live in, I do not see that at all. It's a nation that's divided.
Yes, it is.
It's messed up to me.
Well,
It's messed up. That's why I say we got to be prayed up.
I
But
appreciate.
I don't feel our youth are safe even during the daylight. Even when they walk to the store, it's not safe nowhere no more. It's not even safe in your house, let alone being out there participating in anything. All due respect for Dr. King and his legacy, but it's not safe nowhere.
Well, I appreciate you calling in, and I hope everything works out. And again, I hope you enjoy the holidays as best you can. And thank you for calling in.
I sure will, and God bless everybody.
Thanks,
Stay
Toledo.
prayed up.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
You know, she said something to me like, before all this happened, for some reason I was always upset with our own because Martin Luther King Parade Day in Miami. I'm gonna say Miami because I said what I know. It was always a shooting. On the day we celebrate the freedom that this man gave to us, it was always some kind of violence at the MLK Parade down in Miami every year. So now that this added to it, now it's fitting me on both sides.
You don't know which way
You don't know which way to turn.
Right.
Yeah.
So my question to you, Miss Kim, would I ask her right now if your son wanted to go to a parade on this Monday, in your heart, how would you really be feeling about it? His safety.
Yeah, like I said, I would be totally conflicted because I'm one that, you know, is considered, I guess, a militant or whatever. And it's like, if we're going to stand up for our rights, then we're going to stand up for our rights, and we're not going to back down to them. You know, we're not going to allow them to intimidate us, because that's what this whole thing is about. Instilling fear and terror like they used to do when MLK was alive, so that we wouldn't, you know, exercise our rights and celebrate our freedoms. You know, so on the one hand, it's like being defiant or fighting back against that by saying we're going to be here and march in this parade anyway. And I would feel, you know, proud of my son and of course, concerned about the safety, but at the same time, be proud. You know, but then when I take stock of exactly where we are this particular year, 2021, which is so unique. I mean, it's a unique threat, like you said, from the both sides, and it's just such a unique threat now. Everything's been exposed. What we've always known for generations, the world now knows about these white supremacist cops that make up more of the police force than they want to admit. How can you trust that they're going to protect you as an organization when you are down there marching?
I got you.
How are you going to trust that they're not going to allow the counter protesters, quote unquote, come through at you like they allowed them to go into the Capitol? You know, so it's just such a tinderbox moment right now. I would really just kind of leave it up to my son, let him know all of making sure he's aware of everything, you know, and then whatever he decided to do, I would support him.
So, how do you think we can fix this? Like, to bring all this together again?
Well, you know, the divide that we think about is around party line. It goes straight through the middle, you know, fathers, the Republican and the Democrats. Because when we look at Fox News, they channel this energy. I think what we have to do is just take away the difference in parties. You know, it can't be no, oh, we gonna have a Tea Party over here, or the Democrats gonna have a party over there, and we just gonna stay on that one side of the fence. We all gotta, as a whole country, we all gotta come together as a collective, and we gotta recognize what it really is. You know, we can't just sit back and just let them hijack the nation. You know, and just say, oh, the Tea Party or the Conservative Party or the Democratic Party, we all gonna just sit in our perspective corners and we gonna just let it all fall out, or the fallout happen the way it is. No, we all gotta come together really as a true nation, man, and start trying to build those gaps, fill in them gaps, man, with some truth, so that we can, you know, mend the fences.
And you say truth, like I learned about a letter, and I'm not even ashamed to say it. Maybe 20 years after I graduated high school, the Willie Lynch letter. I'm talking. I learned about that letter. I'm not even gonna lie to you, in the 2000s. So I think when you say truth, I think a lot of schools are not telling the truth on history. Period. Because when I read that Willie Lynch letter, I don't know if your son, I'm gonna call him nephew, but read it. That was deep. It was deep to me.
Yeah, I mean, and there's some debate as to how authentic that letter is, but the sentiment behind it is absolutely
when
true.
He said, the thing that got me when he said, I'm gonna have, if you do what I say, I'm gonna have dark skin against light skin. I'm gonna have the daddies leaving home. You know what I'm saying? Stuff. I'm gonna have the hatred among each other. If you do what I say, do right now. And this was in 1880 somewhere, 18 something. It hurt me because that's what
That's what happened.
That's what's going on.
Right.
Yeah. Well, what it is, and they also use the modern form of tactics where they use reward and punishment. They reward some peoples and they punish other peoples, but they're in a position of power to do that. But we got to understand and recognize what the game is. You know, that's the reason why I said that the divide of the country runs down with not just Republican and Democrat, but the power.
Oh, yeah.
And this is what they really angry about. They never wanted to share the power with our peoples that have been in a position to rise, such as Obama and even the black woman right now. You know, and this is what I believe their anger what's fueling their anger is because they never wanted to share this power. And you gonna allow these people to come off up into our house and they gonna give our country away. And Trump, he used his strategy, make America great again, and this is what they call making America great again.
How you feel about the stimulus that's coming out? Do you think that's going to be a big impact of economy now? And are we going to do right with it?
I mean, yeah, because even if I don't know what you mean by doing wrong, but if
you know what I mean by doing wrong.
Even if as long as we spend that money,
Okay.
however you want to spend it,
Correct.
it goes into the economy.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? As long as you don't spend it underground. But however you spend the money, at
Correct.
the store, at the mall,
Correct.
at the wherever you spend the money, it's still going to go right back into the economy.
Correct.
You know, so that's not the real issue as far as how we do it. I know that's a sub issue, like how do we
you know what
manage
I
our
mean by
money
that.
and you know, and that kind of stuff. But in terms of the economy as a whole,
Well, I'm sorry. Let me be funny with this real quick. Stay right there. What I mean by it is, you can't stand home with mama and you get your check. Don't go buy a PlayStation 5. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? Do
Yeah.
something. Put it to the side.
Yes.
Don't go buy the new J's coming out next week. So you tell everybody you bought the ones cost $400-500. I'm talking about. That's what I mean by.
I know what you
do
mean.
right with it.
I know what you
Right.
mean. Those are personal.
That's all I'm
economics.
saying. Do right with it.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's what some people's intentions are. They gonna
Buy a
be
bottle for
irresponsible.
$500. Go to the club, buy a bottle for $500.
Right,
Well-
they're gonna be, excuse me for 1 second. They're gonna be irresponsible and buy these unnecessary things or gadgets.
Okay,
But-
gadgets.
What we understand, everybody gonna have to spend it anyway.
Correct.
Because in this America, you got a cost of living, and it costs to be here. So everything come with a price tag. Everything you see on this table costs money. Everything we see in this room gonna cost
You
money.
gotta tell me. I know.
I don't care what it is. It costs.
I need that money.
So when they give you this stimulus money, yeah, you gonna spend it, but you gotta spend it correctly.
Correct.
And that's what I think. What you saying?
Yeah, I'm not saying to get it and hold it forever. I'm just saying let's be smart with it, 'cause especially if you ain't got no job,
Yeah.
especially if you ain't got nothing coming in. Now you finally got it coming in. Don't go out there and blow it on something that ain't going. You know, I'm gonna say this word loosely, and I don't mean this literally. Flip it. Well, I mean flip it the right way. I ain't saying flip it the other way. Flip
Right.
it the right way. Make you some money.
Right.
Right.
You know,
Don't
no.
mismanage it.
Yeah, go out and buy you some clothes, some wholesale stuff, resell it, or you know what I'm saying. Don't.
Well, I think we better really get used to or educate ourselves on how to be personally responsible with just a check coming through, because hey, the way things going, we might get that reparations after all. You know, so we need to try to get people used to spending money, like you said, the right way. But in terms of the economy itself as a whole, yeah, those checks ain't gonna do nothing but stimulate, the economy. It can't
Right.
make it no worse.
So I didn't mean to ask no ignorant question.
No, it's
I
not
meant
ignorant.
my wording was wrong, but that's what I really meant to ask.
Right.
You know, I know it's gonna be beneficial all the way
Right.
around, but
Just
like
personal.
personal.
finance.
I just not God forbid my job, my 9 to 5 job, well, my 4 in the morning job.
Right.
I drive buses, and I see a lot of young men that when they get this, instead of them going to put a down payment on the car, they're going to go buy the new iPhone. They're going to buy the new J. They're going to buy the new Beats. They're going to buy the new, and still catching the bus. So my point is, go ahead and use that money wisely is what I'm saying. Educate yourself that this your opportunity to go ahead and put that down payment on something.
And it's so hard because it's the same mentality when we got the income tax check, the refund checks back. You know, everybody.
Well, that was the first one, and I think that was more of just we was really with the COVID and stuff, everybody was just mind was already in another place anyway.
Oh yeah.
Right.
So we weren't thinking right. But I'm pretty sure 90% of people that got it weren't thinking right then.
Yeah. You know, I've been trying to talk to young guys that I work with, and I try to explain to them that you can't support bad habits like you supporting babies. So instead of paying child support on your babies, you paying child support for bad habits because you got to support these habits. You know what I'm saying? And I agree with what you're saying, and I understand exactly what you mean because you coming from the reality of what we really witnessing. Fathers, people's being irresponsible with their finances. You know, and me, I tell people all the time, I operate on minimum spending. Me and my grandson, we was talking the other day, and I was laughing at him, or he was laughing at me. And I told him, I said, when I was in Chicago, I was spending maybe $2 a day. Here at Georgia, I'm making a little more money. I can spend $5. You know what I'm saying? But I'm being facetious, but I'm serious. I may spend $5 a day. You know, I'm talking about eating. But when I was out there, I was spending $2. And that was the minimum. That's
What's the difference? Like, what's the different mindset for you?
Well, the difference is that I'm holding on to my money a little. I was holding on to my money out there a little tighter because my money didn't grow as fast. And I wasn't able to save as much. But here, it's growing faster and I'm able to save more. Yeah.
So any hot topics for me, Miss Kim?
Whew, everything
Oh,
hot.
She say, woo. What's going on?
Everything hot. I mean, I thought maybe we could kind of review and take in what Georgia did in that Senate runoff, that
Okay.
Senate race for a minute.
So what did that mean to you personally?
It's nothing like seeing years worth of work culminate, you know, into what you imagined it to be when you first started. Like I can imagine for Stacey Abrams, who is a homegirl of mine from Mississippi. Hey,
Okay,
shout
that's where
out.
you was from.
Originally Mississippi.
Okay.
So I can imagine for her watching that, being on the type of mission she was on, you know, and then to watch it work come to fruition in such a dramatic way where literally like all the eyes of not just the country, but the world was on little Georgia, you know, because we had so much power over what was going to happen. If ever there was a time when your vote counted and mattered, it was this election, you know, and especially the runoff in Georgia.
Hey, I want to say something, Kim, and because I want to go piggyback on what you just said. I seen Kemp on the news, shook. I'm talking.
Kemp,
Kemp.
Governor Kemp.
I seen him shook.
I was like, Kim, you doing big
I'm
things.
talking about he would, cause he seen the power of the voters, and his whole. I think he concerned with his reelection when it's time to come up for his reelection, and I think that's the reason why he took a firm stand against Donald Trump, the way he did, because I know he's seen it. The blowback with Purdue and Leffer, man. I mean not the lady, man. I think he was concerned, and I think he know his time is
running
it's
short.
coming.
I don't know how firm of a stand he took against Trump because he was still partying for Christmas up, you know, at the White House after Trump had, you know, put him threw him under the bus. But he recognized what time it is. Absolutely. Yeah, I think he did just announce that he was going to officially be running for re-election, running for governor.
Who said that?
Kemp.
Kemp.
Yeah, I think he came out a couple of days ago and made it official.
Who would he be running against?
As far as in the primaries, the Republican primaries, we have to wait and see who they gonna put up. You know, they was talking about Doug Collins, the one who ran against Loeffler and lost in the primary. So the Republicans, we got to see who they put up. You know, I don't think that they can put up anybody more prominent than Kemp right now because everybody else is crazy.
Yeah, you know, I asked Note this question downstairs before you got here. Do you think it ever be one together? Do you think we can ever, like, just live life we just together?
Well, I mean, to the caller earlier when she was talking about, she was, you know, being spiritual and talking about the end of times and stuff. I've long said that this was prophesied.
Okay.
Trump, what we were warned about him, and this was gonna be, he was gonna bring, you know, the quote unquote downfall of the final empire, as was described in Revelations. And so I've long felt like it was prophesied. But the Bible also tells us that there will be heaven on earth. And so things had to fall down like it is right now. All these systems had to be exposed, you know, for what they were, broken down. And so now it's time to build it back up the right way, you know, with everything out in the open as far as the systemic racism that was built into, you know, so it was the original sin, they call it. Remember slavery? Mm-hmm. We were doomed. If we didn't reconcile that, if we never fixed that, this was bound to happen.
Yeah. Ready, nephew? How you doing? Real Talk with New Order.
He said blessings.
Hello?
This is, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, this is Silverina Porter. I'm the New Order National Marketing Director for New Order National Rights Organization.
Talk a little louder for me. You mumbling a little bit.
Okay. Oh, yeah, my God. Yes, this is Silverina Porter. I'm the Public Relations for New Order National Director for New Order National Rights Organization.
Hey.
How you doing?
Anointed, blessed, and highly favored by God's grace.
Yeah.
That's what's up. So what do you think about everything going on?
Oh, wow. Oh, goodness. Oh, wow. My feelings on it is, you know, oh, my goodness.
It's overwhelming.
You know,
So you don't know the start at, huh?
I just say this, you know, I'm doing my best to make it simple and plain, you know, that God is about to do something amazing, you know.
That's right.
You know, and so, you know, it's you know, oh my God, this is so powerful. The greater blessing is on the way.
That's right. That's right. I firmly believe that.
So I appreciate you calling in, and thank you for your support for New Order and what you're doing with New Order. It's really appreciated.
You're welcome. You're very welcome.
Okay.
Peace and blessings, love and service and grace
Peace.
to you all. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's we have to do is just make it to the other side of this. You know, we have to survive this pandemic with this
Which I
virus.
can't understand because, I'm sorry, Miss Kim. Well, I can't understand. This is what I can't understand. I had it back in March. I was in hospital 12 days.
Oh, wow. The
But-
hospital.
Hospital. But my point is, in March, the numbers were what they were, and everything shut down. They're saying it's tripled today, but ain't nothing shut down.
Yeah, because of incompetent leadership.
That economics, I feel like, because they had to make their money November, December, New Year's. Now we got Valentine's. I feel like when March come again, I feel like it'll be another shutdown.
Yeah.
Because what money we got coming in now?
Yeah. Well, I think also that's the reason why I thought it was some type of terrorist attack, because the so-called terrorists, whether they real or elusive, is always attacked America finance, and this was the impetus of bringing down this so-called superpower. You know, it's to break the economy, and to put the peoples at ease. You got to constantly put out the money to stimulate it, to have peoples go spend it, or peoples would migrate to their own shelter and stay there and stop spending or just stock up, like what they did with the toilet paper and the sanitizer. So I think it's to stop the peoples from being afraid, you know, and that's what the stimulus money is all about. and trying to put peoples at ease.
Yeah.
And then also, you know, you got some peoples who really don't care no way, one way or the other. They gon', you know, gamble. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? They gonna roll the dice.
Oh,
But
go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just saying, I just think that it's our responsibility to, you know, wherever it came from, whatever the reason, to survive it and make it to the other side. Survive all the other epidemics going on, whether it's police brutality, systemic race, you know, survive this, make it to the other side of this. And like the caller said, I firmly believe that the blessings are about to rain down on his chosen people, true chosen people. I don't want to get too deep with the religion, but you know, that's my belief that that those who have been persecuted shall rule. That's what the word says.
Well, what we gonna do right now? I was waiting for a commercial break, but the person that was coming, I ain't heard nothing from him. So we're gonna go ahead and play this speech, if y'all don't mind.
Go ahead.
Martin Luther King, and if y'all can, cut your mics off for me. We're gonna go from there.
I have the pleasure to present to you Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr.
I am happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. Five score years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro still is not free. 100 years later, the life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will they be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream. My four little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day, down in Alabama, with its vicious racists, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification. One day right there in Alabama, our little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. One day every valley shall be exalted, and every hill and mountain shall be made low. The rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight. And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. This is our hope. This is the faith that I go back to the South with. With this faith, we will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. This will be the day when all of God's children will be able to sing with new meaning, my country, tears of thee. Sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. And if America is to be a great nation, this must become true. And so let freedom ring. From the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire, let freedom ring. From the mighty mountains of New York, let freedom ring. From the heightening Alleghenies of Pennsylvania, let freedom ring. From the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado, let freedom ring. From the curvaceous slopes of California. But not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain of Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi, from every mountainside. Let freedom ring, and when it happens, when we allow freedom ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, free at last, thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
Well, there you have it. So when you hear that speech, chills.
Every time.
Yeah.
And
Every time.
every time.
Because if you hear the whole thing, you can almost pick out something different, something new every time you hear it. And it's just amazing how connected we are to them now, as far as what we're going through, marching for the same things, the exact same things.
So when you say marching for the same things, what is the future for what's coming up next for New Order?
Well, we recognize that this was just the beginning, getting to this point with Trump and everything out of office. We recognize that that's just the beginning, and the real work actually starts now. So everybody kind of, take a moment to enjoy what you can, but we are going to go about the business of now holding all of these elected officials accountable, for what they said they was going to do when they got elected. And I'm talking from the top to your local politicians, because as we know, we helped a lot get pretty much everybody in office right now. So it'll be time to start holding them accountable. We know that here in Georgia, they have immediately, the Republican legislature, they have immediately begun the process of trying to make it harder to vote, since this election was so successful. So we have to monitor that, because as a human rights organization, we recognize that, like what Martin Luther King was talking about, the freedom that we all have, we recognize that the backbone of that freedom is to be enfranchised to vote. That's the only way, or the main way, that we can participate in this American system, the way it's set up. Our power is in the vote. So we have to preserve that.
Yeah, I agree. What I think also, the pandemic gave us a challenge as a country. And we united, whether we realize it or not, because we all got to come together on one accord in order to, survive it.
Right.
And not only that, because a lot of people's lost a lot of loved ones.
Yeah.
And this was this was the worstest attack that we could have imagined, because we endured a lot. A lot of people's lost their lives, and a lot of people's had to suffer.
There's a lot of trauma out there.
Yeah, and we still going through it until they really find a vaccine that's really gonna offer a cure.
Right.
And I feel too that some people's gonna, be lose their life even to the vaccine, because a doctor who was vaccinated died in Florida.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was from the vaccine or what, but that's something to think about. What kind of side effects or what kind of damage the vaccine gonna do to us.
Yeah, I think in this year, 2021, we're gonna learn a lot about the effects, those side effects, because we all know, they didn't have time to really test, what the long term effects were. They know pretty much about the short term effects, but they didn't have time to test what the long term effects of it yet. So yeah, we're definitely going to be monitoring that, and more as the year goes on, we'll be getting more information, about how that works. But the other thing that I think that is going to be so important for us to focus on is rural America. Like we said, that we are definitely a human rights organization, and we recognize that in rural America, it has been severely neglected.
Yeah.
It has been severely neglected to where, how hospitals close down in the middle of a pandemic. Something's wrong with that. But in the rural communities, that happened time and time again, where hospitals closed down. And so we really have to address the needs of rural America, dealing with the opioid, addiction, and drug programs and drug laws, so that these people can get help as opposed to going to prison, for drug use. So that's another thing that we'll be that we'll be getting more and more involved in is rural America.
Yeah.
What's facing them.
Yeah, I think the challenge gonna be astronomical. But what also I think about is how it changed our society. With the distancing, for this everything being virtual.
Yeah.
And a lot of that stuff gonna happen. It's gonna happen, whether we want to accept it or not. Ain't no more close contact. People's gonna be scared of other people.
You already see it now when you watch. Like we was watching the Martin Luther King speech. I'm looking at all those thousands and thousands of people on top of each other. Now we're programmed to think about, oh, look at, what if coronavirus was around? And you can tell we are already on edge about. We can look at something and just be like, oh, look at all the crowd. So we're already sort of being programmed to not programmed, but conditioned to think about the social distancing and the masks and stuff, because it does something to us to just even watch old stuff now. It watch people.
When you say watch old stuff, I don't know. Nephew might. We may not agree on everything, but nephew probably agree with me on this. I don't like watch. Me personally, I'm cool with my history.
Yeah.
But I don't like doing it. I can't. It does something to me. Like even
PTSD.
I'm actually Cuban and black. You know what I'm saying? So both my sides went through a whole lot. But I don't even like watching the documentaries. It's just like I guess I'm a little different. I want to live for what's going on now, but hell,
Well, I mean, when you know that
I
ain't
respect
nothing
the
new,
history though.
ain't nothing new under the sun.
Yeah, yeah.
And so when you really believe that, and when life has shown that to you to be the case, then you can appreciate history, because what I get from it, even watching the quote unquote slave shows and that kind of stuff, what I get from it is, how did they endure? And how can that inform me as to how we can endure today?
Not only
because
endure,
it's the
Ms. Kim.
same spirit.
Okay, not only endure, endure, got along.
Yeah.
Even us as race. Look how we got along so good back then.
Yeah. What was the
formula?
Right. Exactly. So that's why I appreciate looking back.
Like we what the one about Alabama, the bridge in Alabama.
Edmund Pettis.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I watched that one. And just see everybody come together.
Oh yeah.
Like what we gotta get at to be that way for us to get together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, history is the history lessons that we learned, it's only a depiction, and it's only a macrocosm of what really was going on in society at large, because there was a lot of other things that was happening, and a lot of our peoples didn't participate. So we can't just make it like all black peoples was marching. No, all black people was not marching, man. Also, I wanted to say this here, because when we deal with some of the history, they gloss over it. Like, here it is, you still have an embargo on Cuba. Not going off up into the political realm, but Cuba need to, you dealing with Russia, but you won't deal with Cuba. Why you holding a grudge against Cuba and not holding a grudge against Russia, when it was Russian missiles that they were putting over there in Cuba. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But not to just, like I said, not to make it a political thing, but it's the same way with the African Americans. We African Americans, we on the soil, but they still holding vendettas against black folks. You know what I'm saying? And it's not all white America, but it's a segment of white America that's still holding a grudge. And that same segment of white America that's holding the grudge against Cuba is the same segment of white America that's holding the grudge against African Americans.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Who only thing we fighting for was civil rights. In the same way, I don't know what we can say or how we gonna characterize what Cuba was fighting for. You know what I'm saying? Whether they was just trying to be communists or whatever. But the whole point is, it's a segment of America who's holding their foot on the economy in Cuba that they need to let up.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Because them human beings over there, whether you want to call them communists or whatever your feelings are for them, you know what I'm saying? Y'all need to come to some type of rational understanding and let these peoples back into the global world, you know what I'm saying, where they can do business with whoever, whether it's Africa, Russia, China, whoever. They need to free it up. Come on, let the embargo go.
Right.
So, Ms. Kim, when you say you're very political, right? You into that? What got you into that? Like, just seeing, going through it, you went through a lot of Mississippi?
Yeah, I mean, I was a part of only the second generation. I'm only 45 years old.
Same age
but
as me.
I was the second generation of black people to integrate my school. My mama,
Wow.
in her generation, was the first.
Wow.
And so
And what year this was? We talking about high school, junior high? What?
elementary
Wow.
in
It's-
Mississippi.
Wow. So that's got to be 80s, 85,
Yeah.
90s.
Yeah. So we was in just the second generation of black people to enter that school. And so going into that environment,
Wow.
it's just going to automatically put you in a political spot. Whether you're young enough whether you're old enough to realize what it is or not.
That's wow. Real talk with New Order.
Good afternoon, good people. Good afternoon. How are
Hello,
you?
hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. Talk a little louder for me.
This is your national spokesperson, Leonard Jones. How are you all this afternoon?
We doing good.
Okay, how
Speak
you
up a little
doing, sir?
louder for me, boss man.
All right. I just happened to be watching the show today. It's an interesting conversation. This is probably the first time I've called in, but man, it's great to see New Order still about that business, still bringing people to knowledge. Thank everybody for the platform, DISCO100. Got you locked in, most definitely. But we all have to make sure that we never stop fighting. I think that's the difference, is when people get comfortable. The difference before was you couldn't get around it. You know how it was before? It didn't matter. You were black. That was what marked you, is the fact that you were black.
That's right.
That's what's different than it was today, than the way it is today. So now we have to really continue to educate people on the issues that are important, that help you, as Kimberly say, they help direct you who to vote for. So you know what is going on at all times. Like the brother was talking about Cuba. A lot of young people do not understand the issues that we have with Cuba and these reasons, and why we haven't reconciliated or what have you, and why it's a good time to discuss with our young people the difference and what has happened in history when black people have come together in solidarity. A lot of times they have been accused of being communist.
That's right.
Okay? And so these were the types of propaganda and things that kept people divided. Look how divided we are now as a country. And it's not like we broke down into 10, 15% here or there. You almost got half of the voting public voted for somebody trying to destroy our democracy. So we have to make sure we keep educating folks, man. Thanks for y'all time and everything that y'all do. And keep speaking truth to power, man. Peace.
You too,
All right,
brother.
peace. Yep.
Thank you for calling, my man.
Yeah. That was powerful.
Yeah. When it comes to the education, people, I don't know if you noticed over the summer, just how mad people got, white people, about the fact that they didn't know a lot of stuff about his, like, remember with Tulsa, Oklahoma, the anniversary. Did y'all notice how many people was talking about how upset that they were that they didn't know that this happened?
Yeah.
That how could they, I'm talking about even from like celebrities and just everyday people was talking about how upset they were that they were never taught.
I told
This.
you that. I'm not trying to cut you off.
Yeah.
But like, I'm embarrassed. Like a lot of stuff, cause my old lady into that type of movie. If your mother's sons are hard to make fun of, tell you watch some slave movies, you know, make fun of her. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, my old lady, she into that stuff. Like she like to watch the we quote me and my other son, one year younger than nephew. I always make fun and say, you watch them slave movies, and then when you sit there and watch and learn history,
Yeah.
it's like stuff. Some people's names I didn't even know. Like I'm embarrassed, literally.
Yeah.
I'm literally embarrassed because some people I haven't heard a clue about, and they own monuments. They own, different platforms. Not platform, but different, getting different awards. And I never heard these people.
Right.
So you're right. History just.
Right. And so you get upset when not only if you haven't been taught, but if you've been miseducated. That's when you really get pissed. When you find out that you've been lied to.
That other version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you find out that you've been lied to, that you've been miseducated on purpose, that'll motivate some people to I mean, like I said, even white people, like it was just funny to watch them. Just how could we not know this about Tulsa and Black Wall Street and everything that happened? Like they had no clue because it wasn't in any books, and they didn't have no kind of intellectual curiosity or no reason to go find out about it on their own.
Right.
But the mere fact of them not knowing about it, as old as they are or young or whatever, upset people to the point where now the conditions are ripe for us to bring that education back, and to properly educate people about the history and so that they can understand exactly how we got to where we are now. Because when you know that history, it's not a mystery as to how we ended up here. When you know that history, you know that we were bound to end up here where we are now.
See, and I don't mean to cut you off, Kim,
Okay.
but I was always taught that my enemy came in two forms. That's illiteracy and apathy.
Mm.
And when you got a society that want to rock you to sleep, they keep you like that by keeping you illiterate, and then you become apathetical.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of our people, when I say our people, I'm not talking about just black people. I'm talking about black people, white people. I'm talking about American citizens are apathetical. So they don't even understand why you hating a group of people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You don't even know, because like you said, the history don't teach you this. So you become illiterate. You become ignorant. And ignorant just knowing that they're saying you are not stupid. You just have a limited degree of knowledge in a particular area.
Right.
And that area is showing them that they're unaffected by these people, because, and that's the reason why when they see cops killing black folks, or when you see the Rodney King beaten, they numb.
Yeah.
They numb at it.
Yeah, and we just don't have the privilege to get numb. And I mean, even though we try to dull that pain and that trauma in so many ways, so many unhealthy ways. You know, when we was talking earlier about the drug problem, we have a lot of trauma. You know,
When you're
generational trauma that we have to deal with.
But when you're a human being, your human compassion is gonna bring you to some form of compassion. You know what I'm saying? But they don't show no contrition.
And that is exactly what I was going to get back around to answer your question about how do we come together? How do we unify? First of all, we have to weed out the quote unquote enemy. And I mean, so that we don't make the mistake of unifying with the enemy. You know, we throughout history, talking about history, that was the mistake. I mean, this all refers back to the Civil War in terms of the attack on the Capitol and everything. But pay attention to what happened after the Civil War, during Reconstruction, right? That's when everything was gravy for black people. During that 10, 15 years of Reconstruction, we had the businesses, Black Wall Street, all that stuff. And then what happened? There was a retaliation, another backlash, right? But the backlash alone wouldn't have meant anything. White people could have been mad all they wanted. But it was because the government stepped in and compromised with them that put us into Jim Crow after Reconstruction, after all that, upward mobility that we had. Like I said, white people, they could have been mad all they wanted. But when the government stepped in to appease them, to unify, to come together with them, they did so by sacrificing us. And so that is the part that we have to make sure and watch that don't happen this time.
Yeah.
So when we talk about unifying, we have to make sure that before we do that, we weed out the evil, the enemy. We cannot compromise with, placate to, these people who are wholly against American principles, against democracy. They quick to tell us to, if you don't like it, leave. But it seems like they the ones that don't like the way the country's supposed to be set up.
Right, or your skin thin.
Right. So before we can unify, we must root out and weed out the enemy. And then once we do that, and I feel like that'll happen almost like in a natural sense, because they will, like they've been doing the past few years, they will tell on themselves who they are. And so once we weed them out, the rest who's left is who can unite.
Well, what we're gonna do, quick, we're gonna go to a minute break. I know Note got to go, so you gonna keep talking. You gonna educate me some more. You don't mind?
I don't mind.
All right, so Note, we're gonna take a little break, and man, enjoy your grandkids, man, and have
man. And in peace, man.
Happy New Year.
I sure gonna miss this conversation. I was enjoying it.
It's all good. Oh. My bad. I'm sorry, y'all. Little technical difficulties. Had the rooftop up there. So, Miss Kim, Nook had to step out. He going to see his grandkids. They in town from Chicago.
Yeah.
And they're leaving tomorrow. So he stepped out to handle that. But it's me and you. So educate me a little more and tell me what's the next steps with New Order.
Well, I mean, I think, like I said, this is the season. The season is ripe for us all to get educated, re-educated,
Exactly.
and renewed in our resolve to in our mission to bring human equal rights to everyone.
I got
And,
a quick comment. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Leonard Jones says he got 2 comments real quick.
Okay.
He says we need to teach young people the history via free speech tools such as social media platforms. Young white people are just as ignorant as some of our black people. Each one teach one. Black people have to understand and realize there are a lot of ignorant, poor white folks out here, and they are just realizing the truth,
Mm-hmm.
and it is devastating.
That's right.
That's Mr. Leonard Jones.
That's right. That's what I was saying about people getting, upset, because you got to realize how much of their identity is tied into what they believe about where they come from and who they are,
See, it's so funny you say that because I'm not into the black and white thing, which I know you're not. I was telling Nope, I was raised by 3 different type of people all at one time. Red hair, blue eyes, white man, a black man, black uncles, and a Spanish man, all at one time.
Wow.
So I was raised up. So what I'm saying is I know it ain't the skin color.
Right.
I know it's how ignorant folks are raised.
Right.
So ignorant folks to me can be any,
That's
you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Any
most
color.
definitely. Most definitely.
Real talk with New Order.
What's going on, the New Order fam? This is Gerald. What's going on?
G Rose, what's happening, G Rose?
Hey, boss man.
Man, I am very, very proud of y'all 3. Y'all are really representing the organization. Kimberly, you stepped up when needed. Of course, Noki, the co-host, and Disco, you stepped up when needed. I am listening. A lot of people are really liking the show, man. I just want to say thank you. It's definitely not I, but we.
That's right.
We all in this together, man. And I just want to say thank you all. A great topic. The spokesman called in. Several members of the New Order family called in. So y'all just doing an awesome job, man. I'm very proud of you all.
All right, G-Ro, appreciate you, man. You take care of whatever you got going on, man. Please be safe, man. And, we'll see you next Saturday. I know I probably talk.
I'm good. I just want to, like I said, it's not I, but we. Noki might want to take a Saturday off.
Okay.
Of course, you can't take one off, of course, Disco, because you're running the platform. But
No, I'm going to teach y'all how to run it. I'm going to take one off.
Next week we're going to have an awesome show, man. We're going to have the new elected district attorney.
That's right.
Mr. Flynn Brody will be in the studio. We're going to have our new security advisor, Mr. Kyle Jones, former DeKalb County Sheriff. So even next week will be a wonderful show. But I'm a little jealous. It seemed like when I went in the studio, the phone just blowing up.
You know what? Listen, let me tell you something. I told Kim, I said, I don't want to say nothing G Rose, but he not here. We got more phone calls and we got more viewers right now.
We got more calls coming in, jumping in. I'm even teasing Jeanette. I said, Jeanette, what's going on? The phone's blowing up. We ain't in the studio today.
Uh-oh, G-Rose.
We just holding it down for you, boss man. We just holding it down for
First
you.
of all, y'all thank you good. Thanks for stepping up with Nita. I really love y'all. Thank you.
I love you too, bro. We even got nephew running the phone for us too.
Yeah.
All
right, now.
Talk to y'all later.
All right, now. Yep. So what's the next step for No, I was talking about, again, I know we all got open-minded. We make it a broad title, but we all know there's just as many in all races, good and bad.
Oh, yeah.
And like I said, I think ignorance is taught. Prime example, ignorance is taught.
That's right. It can be untaught.
Yeah, you ain't lying about that. Or get taught the wrong, you're gonna be untaught the right way.
Hello.
What's going on? Real Talk New Order.
Hello, this is Sherry, New Order member.
You gotta talk a little louder, Miss Terry.
Illinois, can you hear me?
No, ma'am. You gotta talk a little louder.
Hello, you all doing? This is Sherry.
Hey,
I'm a member
Sherry.
of New Orleans National Human Rights Organization. I called in to say hello. How you all doing?
That's her phone.
What's going on?
We are doing
We
good.
doing good. You got talking to that phone or take it off speakerphone. I don't know what you got going on.
Can you hear me
That's
better
better.
now?
Yeah, stay right there where you at.
Okay, great. I'm in a little old town called Mound City, Illinois.
Okay.
One horse town, one way in and one way out. But I can hear you all. Y'all sound good.
Good.
Thank you. Thank you.
So glad to reach you. How's your week been?
It's been all right. It's been all right. I've been protecting myself, keep myself together from this, virus,
That's right.
trying to stay healthy and survive. And just been listening to all what's going on TV. Been watching the news a lot and just scratching my head on how things has been, just chaotic. How they just get away with everything. Slap her hands on the wrist. They ain't getting no charges. If it was us, they would just throw us under the bus.
Yeah, those
So
of
I
us
just
who
been
they didn't
really
kill.
trying to, wrap my mind around that. And I'm in a highly prejudiced area, Confederate neighbor, and been really thinking about, my sign out, because I got a Biden sign out. And my other neighbor took his down because they didn't want no heat. And I was like, I'm not taking my sign down until the inauguration, until the end.
That's right.
They stole my
because I have
sign.
a right to my freedom too. What I believe in my democracy.
Yeah, they stole mine out
So
my
it's
yard.
been real crazy. So I was just saying, I was glad that they impeached him. I was glad they were trying to find solutions and finding how they can get these people that, the mob, that came and just ransacked the White House. That really disturbed me, how that was, coming into play. And I was trying to catch up in between going to work. And then I started thinking, I'm like, you can't even talk about politics to people down here. They'll get highly upset and start coming at you. So, it's like all of us is in danger.
Yeah,
you don't know. And I got the most prejudiced people around me. I just have to keep it moving. So I don't even mention Trump. So with that being said, I'm prayerful and just called in for support today to see what y'all been up to, what's the topic, put my little input in and, be a part of it,
Well, we appreciate you calling.
It's really rough in our area.
You good. We appreciate you calling. Make sure you take care of yourself wherever you at, all right?
All right.
All right.
Thanks for all you do.
Thank you, Mama.
You're welcome.
All right. Yeah, so like we were saying, it can be untaught.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I know it's taught, and it can be untaught, either your way or the right, or not your way. So that's
A
pretty
lot
much.
of people don't even know, because I know I was shocked to find out probably about 7-8 years ago now when I learned this, about Mahatma Gandhi, who Martin Luther King was, who studied, who he admired. Gandhi was raised a racist. In his early years, he was, he had his racist views, and it wasn't until he left wherever it was, and the details are slipping my mind right now, but wherever he grew up, and however he had to leave that place to go do like sabbaticals and stuff for him to unlearn. But I don't know, there's a town, a country in Africa, and again, I can't remember which one, but there was some controversy about his his statue being put up there. The locals, they wanted to take that statue down. And it's like, well, why would you want to take a statue of Gandhi down?
Uh-huh.
Well, during the time he was in that country, he still had his racist views.
Okay.
And so he was going around, saying some things that was detrimental to Africans. And so he evolved in his mid to late 20s, early 30s, to the Gandhi who we are all familiar with now. So, when I learned that, I was like, wow, even Gandhi, grew up with racist beliefs and views, but it took him, and he talked about it himself. It took him having to leave that environment, see the world, see different people,
see for himself.
interact with different people
Yeah.
in order for him to evolve
That's
and
what's
get
up.
to the point, of where he ended up
Yeah.
being the Gandhi that Martin Luther King admired.
That's what's up.
So it can
It can be on
happen.
top.
It can definitely happen. And so that's part of what New Order, what New Order's mission is, in terms.
Let's talk about New Order mission again. Give me your terminology of New Order mission.
Well, I mean, it being a human rights organization, a national human rights organization.
Correct.
Our mission is simply to ensure that all humans are treated equally.
Correct.
I mean, it's really just that simple,
just that
and it's
simple.
always been that simple.
Exactly.
But something as simple as that
Can be misinterpreted.
has brought about all of this backlash, this hateful, backlash, just to say that you want all humans to have equal basic rights, just basic rights.
Yeah, I remember G Rose and I met him, man. I remember G Rose had got death threats and I'll never forget I met him at the Merida Police Department for something I was going through. And he had a complaint that he had to put on somebody because somebody in that particular precinct, I believe, had death threats and all kind of stuff because he was protecting somebody or speaking up for somebody.
Right.
And I'm like, you just spoke up for somebody 2 weeks ago on a whole nother race. Like, you just didn't do it just for this race, but you didn't get a death threat for that.
Yeah.
So,
And so, although we are definitely a human rights organization, but we understand that at the foundation of that,
correct.
that we're going to have to deal with this race issue.
Correct. Yeah.
We're just going to have to.
Yeah. And I told somebody a story the other day, man, it kind of touched me because I do DoorDash a little bit too on one of my other 4-5 jobs I do. But I went to a little cul-de-sac and I pulled up and there was two little Caucasian kids, 5-year-old, 4-year-old, blonde hair, blue eyes. Never seen me a day in their life. I get out the car, they tell me, "Sir, you want to play red light, green light with us?" And I just found it like, you know what? It's something that is taught.
Yeah.
It's something that is taught.
Yeah.
So, but again, the world we live in now, we gotta keep our head on the swivel.
Yeah.
Period.
Well, I just fully believe that, the cat is out the bag, or the toothpaste is out the tube, and it's gonna be hard to put this thing back in there. We can't. There's no, going back to pretending like you don't see what you just
Correct.
saw.
Yeah. It is what it is.
And so the people who are just gonna be adamantly against this change, this shift towards justice and equality, they're gonna tell on themselves. They're gonna let us know who they are.
Being that you political, let me ask you, I'm gonna put you on the hot seat.
Oh gosh.
What's the first thing you think Biden need to do? What you think the first thing he need to do? Oh, it ain't no first thing.
That's what I was about to say.
Give me a 1A. So we got 1A, 1B, 1C. Let's go 1A.
I think, that's what we would have to do. 1A, 1B, because there's so much going on at the same time that what he really got to do is realize that he's going to have to do multiple things at the same time, because we do have this raging pandemic with this virus to deal with. That, like you said earlier, is killing, thousands upon thousands of us each day.
They say 800 got died on Friday in Georgia.
Right.
800
each day. So that has, if your house is on fire, the first thing you got to do is put the fire out before you start assessing the damage, and all that. So, but the pandemic is not the only fire. We got this racism pandemic as well to deal with. And so those two things just have to be front and center, and I think everything else will fall in line. The economy, all this other stuff will fall in place once we get our economic situation with this pandemic under control and our health under control, because you can't fight if you can't freaking breathe. If you're sick.
I got you.
All this, you know what I mean? So we got to do that, and we got to get address this systemic racism. And what's so heartening about it, what makes me feel like it's not as a heavy of a lift as it once was, is the fact that we got help now. I mean, it cannot be understated overstated how important it is to finally have a large percentage of white people on board, because you know how exhausting more than half of our time has been spent trying to convince them that what we say is going on is going on.
But you know, people, tired is tired.
Yeah.
I ain't gotta tell you, that's a broad topic. Tired is tired.
Yes.
Period.
So the fact that we got some help as far as
Yeah.
they, they getting upset right along with us, and they
Yeah.
want to get some changes right along. We take it as at face value for now. Of course, we always know we gotta.
See, I
keep an eye
respect
on
you.
that.
I'm gonna tell you why I respect you. Gerald Rose, no, I'm not political
Okay.
at all.
Uh-huh.
I don't get into the politics at all. I'm very, not saying I'm blinded. I see what's going on. I just feel like in my heart, I'm not the debater about politics or religion. I know right from right and I know wrong from wrong.
Right.
So he's surprised I'm even talking about it personally, because I always shy away from it.
Because you get to a point where you see how politics, quote unquote, is intricately woven into our everyday lives.
Yeah.
Nothing has taught us that more than this year.
Yeah.
Just how much politics is a part of our lives, whether we realize it or not.
Yep.
And so I think a lot of people are coming to that awakening. And it's not to say that you got to all of a sudden get political or be political.
Yeah.
But it's just like the awareness of
Because
who I vote for
Yeah.
or don't vote for or whatever has a lot of impact.
But you know what
on
though,
my everyday life.
for me, politics is in all aspects, from your job
Oh yeah.
to your promotions to your, and I'm talking about even with each other.
Yes.
So to me, politics covers not just the president race,
Exactly.
your job, your raises, your car note, your interest rate.
Yes.
Everything. It's, to me, it's a whole. So
World.
It's a whole world.
Exactly. It
You know.
is. It is
So-
because and a lot of us, all of us really, we navigate this political landscape just instinctively because we have to live everyday life. Like you said, going to the job, and having to figure out
That person that got the position didn't deserve it, but because they kissing all the blank, 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 they got the job. Like it's political.
Right.
A lot of stuff is so political on who you know,
Right.
how you suck up to them, or what you done did to get. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Right.
like it's.
And so it's very tempting, to just check out,
Yeah. Yeah.
just withdraw from that whole
And that's
situation.
me. And that's
Right.
me. I'm just tired.
Right. And you got to do what you got to do to preserve, your own mental health.
And I'm gonna make a comment. And I'm called DISCO100 for a reason. I keep it 100. Who like it or don't like it.
Right.
I made a comment and I took a real hit on when I made it on one of my shows. I said I wasn't political only because last I checked, I've been working 2-3 jobs since I've been 17 years old, no matter who the president was.
Right.
And that's what I stand by. Nobody ain't came along and did nothing for me. It's spectacular.
Exactly.
Where I can work one job and make it.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Right.
And that's me.
Right.
Not saying I'm not disagreeing with how somebody treated us, because if we have some bad presidents, we have some good ones.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all for that. But at the end of the day, we gotta go out and do what we gotta do. Period.
Yeah. And then, that's definitely a.
And I took a hit from making that comment because they took it out of context.
Well, I don't see how, because it's true.
Yeah.
It's true that regardless of who's been in the White House, especially in particular for Black men, regardless of who's been in and out the White House, your status is the same. But the way I would say, to look at it is to peel a couple of those layers back and find out, well, why that is. Why is that? How is it that could be the case? And when you peel back those layers and you find out that, you mean to tell me that they was just 3 votes shy from passing this particular legislation that would have made.
See, but not only that, it's again the education. Like I'm gonna tell you in front of nephew 20. They can't see him on the screen. My first credit card ever in my life,
Them credit cards.
was at 35. In my life.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was never educated. I was always a cash guy.
Mm-hmm.
I always had that mindset. I ain't gonna let nobody follow my every move. I don't want nobody to know what I'm. You know what I'm saying? That was my mindset. I was always cash. So again, that put me to the point where now I got to build up my credit at 35. I didn't know about buying stocks. Just education.
Right.
I went to school and learned the basic history,
Right.
the basic grammar, the
Right.
basic math.
Right.
I wasn't taught about what's affecting me right now at 45 years old.
Yeah. And see, the thing is, if and I mean, and like I said, we just got this, speak the truth. The racial disparities in this country, in every single system there is, from education to healthcare to criminal justice, all the systems that's in America, racial disparities exist, right? Persist. Now, it would be perfectly fine if you were a white man to have that mentality as far as, I'm just going to go out here and do me. Make sure I'm, as far as, I'm going to do what I got to do to make sure me and mine is fine, and then, deal with everybody else. That would be fine as a white man, because it works for white people to have an individualistic mentality. It works for them. They don't have to be burdened with being black, because being black or being a minority automatically puts you at a disadvantage in every aspect, no matter what socioeconomic background you come from. That's what the statistics show. So even though we spend half of our lives sometimes, doing for us individually, doing what we got to do for ourselves, it'll come a point when you realize that it don't matter how much I come up. I'm not going to ever be able to come up as much as I could have unless my people come up too, because that's the nature of the beast.
Let me tell you something, make you laugh real quick. I don't know if you watched the show last. Jerry Rose probably laughed when he know what I'm getting ready to say. You say our people. I did a fundraiser all month last month, and I asked for $1. Not $1 a day. I asked for $1. I got almost 5,000 Facebook friends. I got almost 3,000, 4,000 Instagram. Right? So Jerry Rose, he laughed at me because the outcome was just, I wasn't surprised. So when you say we got to support each other and come together, that's the.
But I mean, it's a lot go into that too, though. I mean, it's a lot. You got to think about people on the other side of that fundraiser who you was reaching out to, them 5,000 people or whatever. How many of them look at stuff like, how many of them have been scammed? How many of them have been, and I know you're just talking about $1. I'm just talking about the mentality of, I don't know, I don't know how many GoFundMe pages have we seen where people, say this for one thing and it's for another. Of course, that's not you at all. But I'm just saying, on the other side of these fundraisers, we have to combat that part of it, that lack of trust.
I got you.
For one another, and so that's gonna come with just.
So I said that to say, because you said we need to come back. As you said, support each other, come back as one. That's what. And I think we got to find a way, because it's too many. Like you said, it's too many scams out there. It's too many. Like nephew could tell you. I know he get IG messages like I get. It'd be a pretty chick, half naked, talking about she want to flip some money for me. Right? So I don't even know this chick, so I know that's a scam. Like, why would I send you $250 if you give me back 5,000? That don't make no sense. I don't even know you. You know what I'm saying? So I know you're getting that with that. And I ain't take it personal. It was more for me to see who am I surrounding was paying attention.
Yeah.
Because they could have picked up the phone and say, Disco, what's going on, bro? Why you need
Yeah.
I didn't get none of that.
Yeah.
And a kid I coached for another race, they hit me up and gave me a nice big old check. You know what I'm saying? So it was just a point I was making. That's all.
I understand. I mean, like I said, even with stuff like this, with the vaccines, we're skeptical.
Oh, yeah. Now, do you think, real quick, we got 5 minutes left. Do you think they're going to make that mandatory at one point for everybody to get?
I think that there's going to be, how like in school systems, they sort of mandate as best they can that kids have certain, shots before they can go to school.
So it'd be like okay.
So
what's
I think it'll probably be
I can't say the word. No, I can't speak. Immunization or something.
Immunization.
I got it right.
You did.
Yes.
I
can't say Houston though, a human, but go ahead.
Keep practicing. So I think I could kind of see something like that. I could see some businesses saying
Like you gotta have a card to get in.
there's
That
some,
shit got a shot.
I could see that. I don't see it being like everybody in the country is ordered to get.
You know
the
why
shot.
you know why I think it's gonna happen? I think it's gonna give companies a choice. Either you're gonna shut down and nobody can come in, or you're gonna have to make it mandatory to see their card that they got a shot so you can make some money.
Yeah, I mean,
You hit that pocket.
yeah. I think that we got a lot of wait and see with this with the vaccines that are out there, because I think didn't y'all hear about the Congress people who got their 2 shots
And
still got
somebody passed away. A police officer got his and he passed away.
Yeah. Got both of their shots and still got infected.
But you know what I heard too? On the flip side, a friend of mine, we got good conversation too. A friend of mine said that in the hospitals, they get a $2,000 check for every person that's diagnosed with COVID. So a lot of folks that's really sick off the flu, or maybe just mental illness or cancer, whatever it may be, is getting switched over to categories they passed away from COVID. And you laughing?
Yeah, that's a little debatable as far
Okay,
as
so that's next show.
That's next show. We'll
Okay,
say that.
that's what I heard.
Because you just look at the economics of it with the hospital. Yeah, they may get a certain amount, but they are losing money off of this.
But you make sure you come back next Saturday. You make sure you come back next Saturday because we run out of time. But look, Miss Kim, I had a great time with you, man. You done schooled me on some stuff. It was a pleasure having you and Noke. I ain't know G Rose taking a break, so now I feel some kind of way. I thought he was handling somebody's case. So G Rose, I got something for you. I'm walking out the show next week, 15 minutes in. I'm taking me a break. But I appreciate you, Miss Kim. Very educated, beautiful lady, with a lot of sense upstairs, and that says a lot.
Oh.
So do me a favor, tell everybody from New Order a goodbye and all that kind of good stuff.
Everybody, thank you so much for listening to the show today and participating. We got a dynamic year to look forward to. All hands on deck, though. All hands on deck. So keep connected with everybody. Stay safe. Of course, we all love you. And do you have the numbers? Because I am so bad with them off the top of my head.
The phone number here?
Yeah.
It's on the screen.
Okay. No, to New Order.
Oh no, I got the number here.
Okay.
Yeah, my bad. G Rose ain't give me all that. I know I'm gonna say it live. All he told me was follow Kim Lee, so I'm following Kim Lee. I'm doing what he told me to do.
You know I'm bad with numbers, but y'all can find.
We'll
them.
make it happen.
Yeah.
So next Saturday again, 5 o'clock to 6:30.
Yes.
Real talk with New Order. Again, appreciate you coming through, Miss Kim.
You're welcome.
All right.
Love
Bye
to
bye.
hear.
Bye bye.